think of huge stars of the cinema, you do think of all the greats, don't you? The Humphrey Bogarts, the Clark Gables, Jean Harlow, those indelible images, Jane Russell in The Outlaw. Fast forward, in fact, the Clockwork Orange poster. Everybody knows something about cinema and it sticks in your mind. I was talking to someone the other day who told me that when they very first went to see the mega epic Jaws, they literally did jump out of their seat in the cinema. When you watch it now, all of these years later, you can't help but wondering, what exactly were we all so frightened of? It does look a bit rubbery, doesn't it, George? I'm just leaving it there. Just my thoughts, obviously. But one of the biggest stars of the golden age of Hollywood was none other than this man. That's right, Roy Rogers. Now, after three, Roy Rogers and, that's right, Trigger the horse. Now, I never realized this until I was interviewing a gentleman recently who was an old variety turn. That's vaudeville to many people around the world. He was lucky enough to appear on a bill with Roy Rogers and Trigger in Birmingham and up in Scotland. And I don't know if you know this, but they were so successful when they appeared on stage. You see, you have to remember, this is an era where, Hollywood stars literally being in front of you was quite simply amazing. I mean, there's no other way to describe it, in fact. I never realized, though, that because Roy Rogers was a Native American, that the studio, Republic, who made most of his 100-plus films, felt that his eyes were too squinty. So they decided, can you imagine this, to glue them back. Not only that, when that failed, they taped them back for periods of filming. They wanted him to look more wide-eyed and Clark Gable looking. Obviously, it didn't work, and the bottom line was he didn't feel particularly comfortable. But really, I found this particular story fascinating. When he came over here to the United Kingdom, obviously with Trigger in tow, after a very successful stint on television with his show, The Roy Rogers Show, Trigger, for PR, used to check into the hotel. Absolutely. And they actually gave him a room. In reality, when he was in Birmingham, say, or Glasgow, they put him in stables around the corner. But for all the pressmen and all the kids outside, as you can see, there's pictures of Trigger checking into a hotel in Glasgow and in Edinburgh. Now, sadly, when Trigger passed away, Roy was absolutely devastated and didn't like the word stuffed, but made sure that Trigger lived on. And he's still there in the Roy Rogers Museum now. It's nice to know, though, isn't it, that even though he was a huge star and everybody loved him at the Saturday morning pictures, Roy Rogers treated his co-star with absolute respect. And the bottom line is, as ever, he was sadly devastated when Trigger left this planet. It's nice to know he loved, of course, not just his family so much and all of his children, but his co-star too. The reason why I wanted to share that with you is it's just a memory. As I said, that I was interviewing an old variety turn recently at the studio, and he said what a marvellous guy he was. Did you have any memories of Roy Rogers and Trigger? Did you buy the toys associated with the TV show? Did you actually stay and watch the TV show or go and see his movies? Or was it a little bit before your time? A little bit like me? Either way, of course, his memory, thanks to the world of television and online, simply lives on. Lucky, lucky guy. What a lucky, lucky horse Trigger was to have such a friend in the lovely Roy Rogers. Neil Sean, London.